Aliens from the distant reaches of the galaxy had long observed Earth, their sensors scanning its lands and skies. To them, Earth was nothing remarkable. Its technology was far inferior to their own, its people divided, and its military forces seemed laughable when compared to the advanced civilizations that had mastered interstellar travel and warfare. Earth, to these extraterrestrial observers, appeared defenseless. From their vantage point, these aliens saw Earth as nothing more than a tiny, blue planet with primitive technology. Humans had not even colonized other planets, and were barely able to send probes beyond their solar system. The aliens viewed this as a sign of weakness, considering Earth an easy target, one that would be simple to conquer without much resistance. The decision to attack seemed inevitable. The aliens sent out probes, observing every corner of the planet. They studied human behaviors, technology, and even their military strategies. To them, human activities appeared chaotic and disorganized. Social media, entertainment, and video games were mistaken for actual warfare, leading the aliens to believe that the planet's inhabitants were not serious about defense. They found no evidence of unified global military power that could challenge their superior technology. It seemed Earth was ripe for the taking. As the aliens gathered more intelligence, they grew increasingly confident. The lack of obvious defenses confirmed their belief that humans were easy prey. But something didn't add up. Despite Earth's clear lack of advanced weaponry or interstellar defense systems, no other alien species had attacked it. For millennia, Earth had been left untouched. This puzzled the aliens. Why would such a defenseless planet remain unchallenged in the vastness of the universe? Their curiosity turned to concern. There had to be a reason why no other civilization had dared to conquer Earth. The galaxy was full of powerful empires, and many of them had the capability to take over Earth with little effort. Yet none had done so. The aliens began to question what hidden secrets might exist on this small planet. Was there something they had overlooked? Were there defenses that their sensors couldn't detect? Determined to solve this mystery, the aliens decided to dig deeper. They dispatched an emissary to Earth, hoping to gather more information about the human race. The emissary's mission was simple: blend in, observe human society up close, and uncover any hidden strengths or vulnerabilities that might explain why Earth had been left alone for so long. As the emissary landed on Earth and began to observe human life firsthand, a different picture started to emerge. The humans, though seemingly disorganized and technologically backward, possessed qualities that were difficult to quantify with mere data. They were adaptable, resilient, and resourceful in ways the aliens hadn't anticipated. The emissary saw how humans dealt with crises. Natural disasters, wars, pandemics, all were met with determination and a refusal to give up. Humans displayed a stubbornness that defied logic, pushing forward even when the odds were stacked against them. It became clear that their strength wasn't in their technology or military prowess, but in their will to survive. Humans had an uncanny ability to unite in times of danger. The emissary noted how they could put aside their differences, be it political, cultural, or social, when faced with a common threat. This ability to rally together in the face of adversity was a form of defense that the aliens had not considered. Earth wasn't defenseless; its people were its greatest weapon. The emissary also observed how humans used their resourcefulness to turn their weaknesses into strengths. They were able to adapt to changing situations with remarkable speed, finding solutions to problems that seemed insurmountable. This ability to innovate on the fly made them unpredictable, a trait that the aliens found both fascinating and unsettling. What surprised the emissary most, however, was humanity's unpredictable nature. The aliens, being a highly logical species, relied on careful planning and precise strategies in their military campaigns. Humans, on the other hand, often acted in ways that defied logic. Their decisions, driven by emotion as much as by reason, made them difficult to predict. What might seem like a weakness was, in fact, one of their greatest strengths. The more the aliens observed, the more they realized that Earth was not an easy target. Humans were far more dangerous than they appeared. Their unpredictable nature, combined with their resilience and adaptability, made them a formidable opponent, even without advanced technology. The alien leadership, once so sure of their superiority, began to second-guess their initial assessment. As the emissary's report came in, the alien commanders grew uneasy. Earth, which had seemed defenseless from a distance, now appeared to be a much more complex and challenging target. The humans' ability to unite, adapt, and survive against overwhelming odds made the aliens question whether an invasion would be worth the risk. Conquering Earth, they realized, would not be a simple matter of overpowering its military. It would require breaking the spirit of an entire species. And that, they concluded, was a nearly impossible task. The aliens, who had initially seen Earth as an easy conquest, now understood why no other species had dared to attack. Earth was not defenseless after all. It was a planet protected by the sheer will of its inhabitants. No matter how advanced the invaders' technology, they would face a relentless and unpredictable foe in the humans. This realization made the aliens reconsider their plans. As the emissary returned to the alien fleet with this newfound understanding, the alien leadership faced a difficult decision. Was Earth worth the trouble? Could they truly conquer a species that had survived so much, a species that had learned to thrive in the face of adversity? The more they pondered these questions, the more they understood why Earth had remained untouched for so long. The aliens decided to hold off on their plans. Earth, though seemingly weak and defenseless, was a far more dangerous place than they had ever imagined. The risks of attacking it far outweighed the potential rewards. And so, the alien fleet, which had once been poised to strike, turned away from Earth, leaving it in peace, for now. The alien emissary's report had shaken the confidence of the fleet. Earth, though outwardly unassuming, had hidden depths that made it far more formidable than anyone in the alien leadership had anticipated. Now, as they turned their attention to the question of humanity's strengths, the aliens began to unravel what truly made this species dangerous, qualities that, from a distance, had been entirely overlooked. What stood out most was the resilience of the human spirit. Humanity's history was one of survival against overwhelming odds, with a stubborn refusal to accept defeat. The emissary's observations showed a species that had faced existential crises time and again, yet emerged stronger. Whether it was war, natural disasters, or internal strife, humans displayed an incredible capacity to endure hardship. The aliens came to realize that defeating such a species wouldn't just require defeating their armies. It would mean breaking the will of the entire population, a task that seemed nearly impossible. This resilience was a reflection of the humans' deeper instincts, their will to survive at all costs. In times of crisis, humans had a tendency to rally, even when their divisions were at their peak. The emissary had seen how fractured human society could be, riven by politics, culture, and conflicting ideologies. But time and again, these barriers collapsed when they were faced with an external threat. When pushed to the brink, humanity found ways to unite, setting aside their differences to focus on survival. This unity in the face of danger was something the aliens couldn't comprehend, yet they saw its undeniable effectiveness. The aliens were used to calculated military strategies, where logic and careful planning reigned supreme. Humanity, on the other hand, operated differently. Their unpredictability was unnerving to the aliens. They saw how humans often acted emotionally, making decisions that appeared irrational or self-destructive but, more often than not, led to victory. Human history was filled with stories of individuals or small groups defying the odds, overcoming insurmountable challenges not through sheer force or superior technology, but through determination and clever improvisation. Human ingenuity was another trait that the aliens had vastly underestimated. The emissary had reported on humanity's ability to adapt and solve problems in real time, often turning their greatest weaknesses into strengths. This ability to think outside the bounds of logic, to use creativity and resourcefulness under pressure, made humans unpredictable on the battlefield. They were capable of creating solutions on the fly, using limited resources in ways the aliens couldn't have anticipated. What might seem like a primitive society was, in fact, a highly adaptable one, capable of innovation in the most desperate circumstances. The aliens began to study examples of human warfare, learning how humans had repeatedly outmaneuvered stronger foes with less advanced technology. In particular, they focused on humanity's history of guerrilla warfare, where small, poorly equipped forces had managed to hold off or even defeat far superior armies through unconventional tactics. This kind of warfare was something the aliens were ill-prepared for. Their strength lay in overwhelming technological superiority, in large-scale battles where victory was a matter of brute force. But humans didn't fight like that. They used the environment to their advantage, employed ambushes, sabotage, and psychological warfare in ways that their enemies often couldn't anticipate. Even more troubling was the realization that humans were willing to go to extreme lengths to protect their planet. The emissary had observed a fierce territorial instinct among humans, a deep connection to Earth that made them willing to make incredible sacrifices. The aliens knew that any invasion would likely be met with resistance on a scale they hadn't anticipated, not just from military forces but from civilians as well. The idea of a species where every individual could become a potential combatant was daunting, and it complicated the logistics of any invasion plan. It was no longer a matter of defeating an army, it would mean fighting an entire planet. The more the aliens studied human society, the more they realized how interconnected Earth's defense truly was. Though humans might not have had the technological capabilities of other advanced civilizations, they had a kind of collective resilience that was difficult to break. Their unpredictability, combined with their resourcefulness, made them a dangerous opponent. What seemed like disorganization and chaos from the outside was, in fact, a strength. Humans thrived in chaos. They adapted, found ways to turn every challenge into an opportunity, and most importantly, they never gave up. As the alien leadership continued to analyze the data, they also realized that humans had a long history of innovation under pressure. Their technology, while not as advanced as the aliens, was constantly evolving. Given time, humans had the ability to close the technological gap between themselves and their enemies. This was especially concerning to the aliens because it meant that even a failed invasion attempt could lead to humans reverse engineering alien technology and using it to their own advantage. In fact, the more the aliens studied humanity, the more they realized that any confrontation would likely end in humanity becoming stronger, not weaker. The unpredictability of humans also extended to their alliances. While Earth's nations were often divided, the emissary had noted that in times of great crisis, humans were capable of forming unexpected alliances. They had an ability to work with other species, learn from them, and even incorporate foreign technologies into their own systems. This adaptability, combined with their natural resourcefulness, made them a highly unpredictable force on the galactic stage. It was becoming clear that humanity's real strength lay in their ability to survive and adapt. Their technology, while primitive compared to other advanced civilizations, was constantly evolving. Their social structures, though often chaotic and disorganized, became unified in times of crisis. And their spirit, an unbreakable will to survive, was something no alien force could easily defeat. The aliens, who had once believed Earth to be a simple conquest, now understood the real challenge they faced. Humans were not just another primitive species waiting to be conquered. They were survivors, fighters, and innovators capable of turning the tide in ways the aliens couldn't predict. Earth was far from defenseless. It was protected by the resilience, ingenuity, and unpredictability of its people. In the end, the alien leadership realized that Earth's greatest defense was not its technology or its military, but its people. The humans, with their boundless adaptability and fierce determination, were unlike any other species the aliens had encountered. And this realization was enough to make them pause. Earth, once thought to be an easy target, was now seen as a planet best left undisturbed. The risks of attacking such a resilient and unpredictable species were far too great. The decision to attack Earth was not taken lightly, but there were still those within the alien ranks who believed that their advanced technology and military might could easily overwhelm any resistance humans could offer. Despite the warnings and the information gathered by the emissary, a faction of alien commanders felt that the human threat was exaggerated, that their unpredictability could be managed, and that the rewards of conquering such a rich planet were worth the risks. They launched an assault, confident that their superior firepower would crush Earth's defenses within hours. But they were wrong. The invasion began with the usual overwhelming show of force. An armada of ships entered Earth's atmosphere, targeting major cities and military installations. At first, it seemed like everything was going according to plan. The aliens unleashed their advanced weaponry, and Earth's initial response appeared scattered and ineffective. However, as the attack progressed, the flaws in their strategy became apparent. The aliens had assumed that Earth's defense would be centralized, that if they took out key locations, the humans would surrender. But humanity's defense was decentralized, with individuals and smaller groups taking matters into their own hands. The humans were prepared in ways the invaders hadn't anticipated. Despite their lack of comparable technology, humans utilized their environment, exploiting every weakness in the alien strategy. They weren't relying on a singular global defense. Instead, Earth's response was a collection of independent efforts, each adapting to the situation in real time. Civilians became resistance fighters, using guerrilla tactics that the aliens hadn't accounted for. Cities that the invaders expected to fall quickly turned into battlefields where human ingenuity came to the forefront. One of the key factors that the invaders hadn't expected was humanity's willingness to engage in asymmetrical warfare. The humans didn't try to match the aliens' advanced technology with their own. Instead, they used what was available, turning civilian infrastructure, resources, and even everyday objects into makeshift weapons. They sabotaged alien equipment, hijacked communication systems, and used the planet's terrain to their advantage. Earth's forests, mountains, and urban landscapes became traps for the invaders, who found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The alien invaders also underestimated how quickly humans could adapt. As the battle raged on, human forces began to coordinate their efforts, pooling knowledge and tactics learned from the early skirmishes. Military leaders, hackers, engineers, and civilians all worked together in ways that the aliens couldn't understand. Human creativity proved to be one of the most dangerous elements in the fight. The invaders' rigid tactics, reliant on their superior technology, faltered in the face of humans' fluid and dynamic responses. A critical turning point came when humans managed to capture alien technology. The invaders had assumed that their systems were too advanced for humans to comprehend, but they hadn't accounted for humanity's ability to reverse engineer and repurpose foreign technology at incredible speed. Within days, human engineers were modifying alien weapons and communication devices, using them against their attackers. What the invaders had seen as a technological gap quickly began to close, as humans adapted alien tech to suit their needs. This not only leveled the playing field but also gave humanity a psychological edge. The invaders realized that their technological superiority was not as secure as they had believed. Another significant factor was the way humans exploited the psychological weaknesses of the alien forces. The invaders, though highly advanced, were not used to fighting a species that employed psychological warfare so effectively. Human resistance fighters began spreading misinformation, disrupting alien communications, and using fear tactics to destabilize the morale of the alien troops. The invaders, who were accustomed to straightforward battles of strength and strategy, found themselves constantly second-guessing their moves. They didn't know where the next attack would come from or what kind of unorthodox tactics the humans would use next. The invaders also found themselves struggling with the sheer unpredictability of human behavior. One moment, they would face organized resistance from military forces. The next, they would be blindsided by a civilian uprising or a lone hacker taking down an entire alien grid. Humans were capable of acting as individuals, making their own decisions in ways that couldn't be easily predicted or countered. This lack of centralized control made it impossible for the aliens to develop an effective counter-strategy. Every attempt to overwhelm human defenses was met with new and unexpected resistance. As the conflict dragged on, it became clear that the invaders were losing control. Their advanced technology was no longer enough to guarantee victory, and their forces were becoming increasingly demoralized. The human resistance, meanwhile, grew stronger and more organized with each passing day. The initial shock of the invasion had worn off, and now humanity was on the offensive. Human forces, now equipped with modified alien technology, began striking back with devastating precision. The invaders, who had once been so confident in their superiority, found themselves retreating, unable to keep up with the relentless human counterattacks. What made matters worse for the invaders was the way humans began turning the tide of the battle in space as well. The invaders had maintained control of Earth's orbit, using their ships to rain destruction down on the planet. But human engineers, working tirelessly, managed to develop countermeasures that disrupted the invaders' orbital dominance. Using a combination of satellite hacks, ground-to-space missile systems, and repurposed alien tech, humans began to neutralize the invaders' control of the skies. What had started as a one-sided slaughter had now become a full-scale war, with humans slowly but surely gaining the upper hand. The aliens, realizing that they had severely underestimated their enemy, faced a grim choice. They could either escalate the conflict, potentially risking the complete destruction of their forces, or they could retreat and cut their losses. The invasion had already cost them far more than they had anticipated, and they were no closer to conquering Earth than when they had first arrived. What's more, the longer the battle dragged on, the more human resistance grew, and the more dangerous Earth became. This was not the easy victory they had envisioned. In the end, the invaders made the only logical decision left to them: they retreated. Their ships, battered and broken, fled Earth's atmosphere, leaving behind a planet that was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The humans, who had once seemed like defenseless prey, had proven themselves to be a species that could not be easily defeated. As the alien fleet limped away, the remaining commanders reflected on their failure. Earth was not the weak, divided planet they had once believed it to be. Its people were resilient, adaptable, and far more dangerous than they had ever anticipated. The invasion had been a costly mistake, and it had left the invaders with a newfound respect for humanity. No longer would Earth be seen as an easy target; it had earned its place as a planet to be feared and respected. The invasion had ended in disaster for the aliens, but for humanity, it was a moment of triumph. The humans had not only survived, they had thrived, turning their enemies' strength into their own. And now, with new technology and knowledge gained from the battle, Earth was stronger than ever. The invaders, once so sure of their victory, had learned a harsh lesson: never underestimate humanity. As the alien fleet retreated, leaving behind a war-torn but unbeaten Earth, the consequences of their failed invasion rippled through the galaxy. Word. As the alien fleet retreated, leaving behind a war-torn but unbeaten Earth, the consequences of their failed invasion rippled through the galaxy. Word spread quickly. Alien civilizations, many of which had once viewed Earth as little more than a backwater planet, began to reassess their opinions. What had been seen as a minor, primitive species was now recognized as something far more dangerous, a species capable of not only resisting invasion but turning the tide of war through sheer resilience and adaptability. The psychological impact of the invasion failure was profound. Earth, which had once been considered a soft target for any advanced race looking to expand its territory, had suddenly become an enigma. It wasn't the advanced technology or military might that deterred future invaders; it was the unpredictability and tenacity of the humans themselves. Rumors of how the humans had repurposed alien technology, employed guerrilla tactics, and unified their species in the face of overwhelming odds circulated among alien councils, creating a new image of Earth as an untouchable planet. More than just a tactical defeat, the failed invasion left scars on the collective consciousness of alien empires. Each new report added to the mythos of humanity, a species that was as adaptable as it was unpredictable. Other alien species began to consider the cost of an invasion, not just in terms of resources and military might, but in terms of the potential for disastrous outcomes. The reputation of humans as survivors, as fighters who would stop at nothing to protect their home, spread through the galactic community like wildfire. Earth had inadvertently become a symbol of unyielding defiance. For humanity, the invasion marked a turning point. In the aftermath of the attack, humans emerged stronger, more unified, and technologically advanced. The pieces of alien technology left behind by the retreating fleet were quickly studied and repurposed, fueling a new wave of innovation. Human scientists, engineers, and military strategists worked tirelessly to reverse engineer the invaders' advanced systems. What had once been cutting-edge alien weaponry and communication devices now became part of Earth's evolving defense network. The humans had learned from the battle, and they weren't going to wait for the next invasion to be better prepared. Global leaders, once divided by politics and territorial disputes, realized that Earth's survival depended on continued unity and vigilance. Alliances were formed, not just between nations, but also between humans and other peaceful alien species. The fear of a future attack drove innovation in both military and civilian sectors. Humanity was no longer content to remain within the boundaries of their own solar system. They were determined to expand, to explore, and to ensure that Earth would never be caught off guard again. The psychological deterrent created by Earth's resistance became its greatest defense. Alien empires that might have once considered an invasion now hesitated, haunted by the stories of the failed invasion and the resilience of the humans. For these alien species, the question was no longer whether they could defeat Earth's military. It was whether they could endure the consequences of trying. Earth had become the planet where invaders went to lose, and no empire wanted to risk that kind of humiliation or destruction. For the humans, however, this newfound reputation wasn't simply about being left alone. Earth's leaders understood that their planet's safety now depended on proactive engagement with the rest of the galaxy. They began to send out diplomatic missions, reaching out to other civilizations that had once ignored or underestimated them. Earth's diplomatic corps worked to form new alliances, positioning humanity as a key player in the galaxy's political landscape. Earth was no longer isolated. Humans had proven their worth and earned a seat at the table of interstellar diplomacy. As humanity advanced, they took the lessons of the invasion to heart. Earth's military began developing new defense strategies based on what they had learned from the battle. Decentralized, adaptable defense networks became the norm, with an emphasis on quick response times and the ability to disrupt enemy communications and logistics. The humans were no longer just defending Earth. They were preparing to take the fight to the stars if necessary. With each technological breakthrough, humanity edged closer to becoming a space-faring civilization capable of defending not just Earth, but any colony they might establish. Meanwhile, the invaders who had fled Earth were forced to reckon with their failure. Their empire, once seen as unstoppable, now faced internal strife as leaders argued over the decision to attack Earth in the first place. The defeat had cost them not just ships and resources, but also their reputation as a dominant force in the galaxy. They had underestimated a species that seemed primitive on the surface, and now they were paying the price. Other alien species, once their allies, began to distance themselves, unwilling to associate with a fleet that had been bested by humans. The invaders' leadership tried to recover from the blow, but the damage was done. Their empire, once seen as a juggernaut, had been humbled by a species they had believed to be inferior. Worse still, the invaders knew that if they tried again, they would face an even stronger, more prepared humanity. The failure of the invasion had made Earth a more formidable target than ever before, and the risk of future attempts seemed insurmountable. In the end, the failed invasion of Earth became a cautionary tale told throughout the galaxy. Alien civilizations spoke of the humans with a mixture of respect and fear, aware that this small, seemingly insignificant planet had stood its ground against an overwhelmingly powerful enemy. The story of Earth's defiance became part of the fabric of interstellar history, a reminder that no matter how advanced a species might be, there was something about humanity that couldn't be quantified or defeated by brute force alone. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson: Earth was not defenseless, and humanity was not to be underestimated. What had once seemed like an easy conquest had become a symbol of resistance and survival. Earth, in all its unpredictability and chaos, had proven itself to be a planet worth fearing, not because of its technology or its weapons, but because of the people who called it home. As humanity continued to grow and develop, they embraced their newfound role in the galaxy. Earth was no longer a backwater planet at the edge of the galaxy's attention. It had become a force to be reckoned with. Humans, once seen as disorganized and primitive, had shown that their greatest strength lay in their ability to adapt, to survive, and to fight back against impossible odds. And now, with the galaxy watching, humanity was ready for whatever came next. The invaders who had once thought Earth would be an easy victory had learned the hard way: never underestimate humans, for they are far more dangerous than they seem. Earth's place in the galaxy was secure, not through conquest, but through resilience and the unbreakable will of its people. And for those who still thought of Earth as an easy target, the message was clear: attack at your own peril.